The Directorate of Environmental Monitoring and Compliance is one of the departments under National Environment Management Authority with the responsibility of enforcing the existing environmental policies and laws. Join me, Samalu Kwago, as I host the Director, Ayazika Waiswa. In my presence, I have the Director, Mr. Ayazika Waiswa. Thank you so much for joining us on the program on environment, and you're most welcome, sir.
Welcome to this program.
Okay, we're here to talk about the Directorate of Environmental Monitoring and Compliance.
Yes.
What is this department?
Now, the Directorate of Environmental Monitoring and Compliance is one of the 4 directorates in NEMA, and it's the policing arm of NEMA.
Okay.
The Directorate has 7 departments and also a unit of environmental protection force. So it has a department of oil and gas. This department basically looked at the oil and gas issues. We have a department of audits and inspection. This department looks at ongoing projects, and they do inspect and monitor ongoing projects. We do have a department of environmental assessments. By law, the law requires that actually, the 4th and 5th schedule of the National Environment Act number 5 of 2019 has projects which must undergo environmental and social impact assessment. So this department is responsible for that. Then we have a department of engineering, because there is a lot of infrastructure development going on. So we thought it was important to have a department of engineering which looks at roads, quarries, camps, and all that. Then we have a department of natural resources management in charge of aquatics. This department is responsible for wetlands, looking at issues of lakes, rivers. We have a department of soils and land use. This department advises on proper land use and projects which are likely to impact on land. And then we have a department of biodiversity and rangelands. Okay, advising and ensuring that our biodiversity is well managed. But then also the Directorate supervises a unit of environmental protection force. Given the violent nature of environmental crimes, so we also have an enforcement force, environmental protection force. Yes, that's what the Directorate is. It's a big one.
It's a very big one.
Yes.
And you do a lot.
Yes.
And that is why we are here, most especially to look onto the environment. How have you participated towards the environment? So, Mr. Ayazika, tell us some of the relevant policies and laws when in the line of the environment.
Now, the most important policy is the National Environmental Policy of 1994, which is now under revision. But there are a number of other policies which are important as far as the environment is concerned. We've got the forestry policy. We've got the water policy, we've got Uganda wildlife policy, we have wildlife policy, mineral policy. So there are a number of other policies which are also important. The most critical is the National Environment Policy. Now, in terms of the laws, the first law that talks about, and the most important law that talks about environment, is the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. Okay, the Constitution has clear provisions as far as environment management is concerned. Now, from there, you have the National Environment Act, number 5 of 2019.
Yes.
Again, you go back to the National Forest and Tree Planting Act. You have the Mineral Act. You have the Water Act. And of course, from there, you have the Wildlife Act. So, all those are important laws as far as environmental management is concerned, but there are also subsidiary regulations which have been developed therein to help in the management of the environment.
Okay.
Yes.
And I know, of course, I would love to know some of the components of an enforcement program.
Now, in terms of enforcement, first and foremost is that we carry out inspection to understand what is happening, because you do not just go in without understanding.
Yes.
Also, sometimes we have police who first do surveillance. We come to understand what is happening, and usually we also engage the other parties to inform them of what the problem is. And in that, we first use what we call administrative means. We engage, understand the problem, advise. Okay? Where there is failure, things change. We may serve you with an environmental improvement notice, with bring out the offenses, and even telling you what you need to do in a time frame. In some cases, we also issue restoration orders. Now, failure to do that, failure to comply, if it is a factory also, we may close it. Okay? We may also arrest culprits. We may also cancel. If we have issued you with a certificate or permit, we may go ahead and cancel it if we realize that actually you have no interest in complying with the law. But beyond the arrest, also we prosecute. And now the courts of law, we take them to court. And now the courts of law can decide on the relevant punishment. Yes.
Okay. Under the inspection that you've talked about,
yes.
I'd love to know. I know there's some of activities that you carry.
Yes.
Can you please share those activities with us?
Now, inspection, we do inspect every activity which has potential to cause harm to the environment. As I did mention in the beginning, for instance, NEMA, that the 4th and 5th schedule of the National Environment Act has projects for which environmental impact assessment must be carried out. So when that is done and the report is submitted to NEMA, we do inspect to verify the baseline information. Is what is in the report right with what is on the ground? We have people who forge. Sometimes may tell you the project is supposed to be located in place A. When you go on ground, you find it's put in place B. Then, once even we have approved, we carry out regular inspection to verify whether the mitigation measures are working or they are feasible. 2, we also carry out inspection. We receive complaints from the public. Issues like noise pollution from places of worship, places of entertainment, wetland degradations, factories which may be discharging effluent or water in the land, not meeting, some may be complying with the law, some may not be complying with the law. We inspect projects like mining. So basically, every aspect that has got a potential to cause harm to the environment, we do carry out inspections to verify whether the law is being complied with. It is limitless.
Yes.
Yes.
And how often do you do this?
Now, it is an ongoing job. I don't think there is a day that goes without an inspection. No.
Every day.
Every day, because there is something happening every day in the environment. So that is a regular job, either by staff, or our environmental protection force. And by the way, I need to mention that in the execution of our mandate, we don't do it alone. Okay, we do it with other stakeholders. You have the districts. They also have environmental officers who do inspection. In the ministries, they have staff who are responsible for environment who do inspection. Inspection is an ongoing everyday part and parcel of the work we do, because you want to understand what is happening in the environment. But of course, but also sometimes it depends on the nature of activities. The activities we do inspect more frequently than others. But otherwise, it's an ongoing job. Without it, we have no job. Yes, we must inspect.
And me saying the combat behind there,
yes,
that really implies that you're one of the team that goes down to the ground.
No, I am inspector number 1. Okay, I lead the inspection team. So it is part and parcel of the job. I'm saying that without it, this job doesn't exist. Yes.
Okay, so I'd love to know the key expected outcomes of a successful implementation in this strategy.
Now, of course, one of the most critical is to ensure that there is compliance with the law. Okay? As I mentioned that we do inspect to verify, for instance, if an environmental social impact assessment was done, that the mitigation measures which were proposed actually do work or are feasible and are being complied with. If somebody, because the law requires I did mention that we have a Department of Audits and Inspection. When somebody does an environmental social impact assessment, the law provides that after a year or so, they will have to do an audit, an environmental audit. It's like a financial audit, which is done every year to verify whether you are using the finances very well. So even we carry out environmental, when audits are done, we again do inspect, and we want to find out are things going as they were. So basically, the ultimate aim is to ensure that the law is complied with.
What are some of these challenges under this department?
One is that, first of all, there is a lot of expectation from the public, but manpower remains a challenge. NEMA has a staff, has 128 staff. 45% are support staff.
Yes.
There are 137 districts. We are expected to be everywhere, irrespective of the fact that every district has an environmental officer. The public expects us to be everywhere. Now, manpower is a challenge, because this directorate alone currently has 34 staff. Now, what is out there, you can see that really we are very few. The other issue is, of course, resources.
Yes.
Funding for do the work. Of course, COVID has impacted heavily.
Definitely.
On government revenue.
Yes.
I mean, on the revenue collected by government. So we have faced budgetary cuts, which have made it quite hard for us to do work. Of course, the other issue also is that there is a lot of impunity in the public. People just don't want to comply with the law. Okay, people will always find ways, trying to avoid the law. So there is a lot of impunity in the public. The other challenge is that whereas NEMA was created, the law said that the creation of NEMA did not mean that other agencies will stop doing work, especially protection of environment for those sectors under their jurisdiction. So the other issue is that people also have a responsibility, because NEMA's responsibility is to supervise, monitor, coordinate, and regulate all activities in the environment. But NEMA does not do this alone. We work with other agencies. So the failure by others also to play their mandate is a challenge, because everybody keeps on only blaming NEMA. Even you, when you are walking and you throw garbage in a drain, they say NEMA. What have you done about that? So
Definitely.
even you, people also failing to play your role in environmental management. It's also a big challenge to us. So it's important that everybody knows that environment is not only for NEMA staff. This environment is for all of us. So we have got an obligation.
Okay.
Yes.
Why do you think people have failed to comply by the laws and the policies when it comes to the environment?
As I've told that, people know about environment. There are a lot of awareness has been created about environment, and that's why you see that there are many complaints coming up, because people know their rights as far as the environment is concerned. So people know. But basically, as I've told that, impunity is part of the challenge. People think that they will always find ways through which they can avoid complying with the law. But maybe in the challenges also, maybe what I should have mentioned, that we do have an environmental protection force, but they are also very few. Okay, so they can only do what is possible. So we are hoping, under the National Environment Act of number 5 of 2019,
yes,
it provides for recruitment of an environmental protection force. So we hope that now, once we have recruited our environmental protection force, probably we'll be able to enforce better. Yes.
Well, there is still lack of awareness in the community.
No, communities know about the law. A number of communities know about the law. That's why you see many issues coming up. But as I've told you, many people think you can always find ways around the corner to avoid complying. People know the law exists, yes. But enforcement remains a challenge, and I've told you some of the challenges of enforcement, but also, like I've told you, that the failure by also others to play their role in environmental management.
How are you planning to solve these challenges?
Well, first of all, as you may be aware, government recommended the NEMA should be restructured and strengthened. So we hope that through this restructuring process,
Yes.
more staff will be recruited, and we hope probably more resources will be availed for us to be able to do the enforcement. But of course, constant engagement and creation of awareness, like today's program, that would still put up provide information to the public,
Yes.
but also working with other partners in local governments, in ministries. We believe that we'll be able to improve this, but also calling upon everybody else to play their role as far as environment management is concerned. Yes.
What is your way forward to the public and government as well?
Well, the public that call upon the public that please continue. I know there are many challenges, but continue reporting issues of environmental degradation to your LCs, the district environment officer, the nearest police, but also to call upon every member of the public to play a role as far as environmental management is concerned. This environment is for all of us. When we have landslides, they affect us. When we have floods, they affect all of us. So please, just to remind you that please ensure that you play your role as far as environmental management is concerned. Yes.
Tell us this law about the Kavera.
Now, the National Environment Act number 5 of 2019 provides that for any Kavera below 30 microns is banned. Okay. Now, Cabinet recently passed a resolution to ban Kavera, but this is a process because it requires amendment of the law, okay, to ensure a total ban. But the law also provided that National Bureau of Standards should take lead in enforcement, because you need to go to the factories and be able to verify and measure that the Kavera that is being produced is of the right gauge as far as the law is concerned. So we are working closely with the National Bureau of Standards, but also engaging the manufacturers to ensure that they comply with the provisions of the law.
And I've got some partners that you work with.
Yes, as I've told you, we
Any
work
message to them?
with the partners.
Yes.
No, as I've told you, we work with National Bureau of Standards. We are working with Uganda National Manufacturers Association, Private Sector Foundation, but plus also the people who manufacture the Kavera, and we are calling upon them is that let them comply with the law, but also the public. Okay,
Yes.
the public. You know, this illicit dumping, illicit dumping everywhere. People should handle things responsibly. There have been a campaign which has been running over a period of time, and has been about telling people about, please, let's try and much as possible protect our environment. So it is really good that now we are here with you, UBC, since you have got a big outreach. So please continue providing this forum so that we pass on information to the public as far as environmental management. There are a lot of alternatives. There are paper bags. In fact, if you go to some of the supermarkets and you refuse the free Kavera, they will bring out another alternative packaging material at a cost maybe 600 or 800. But this can be reused more and more often, okay, than this single-use Kavera which you use and throw it at drain. Yes, the alternatives are available.
And people purchasing this are complaining as well. They lack support. And you, the people who are supposed to support these people.
No, as I'm telling you that, as I've just informed that we now have an enforcement strategy and we are going to start enforcing, okay? So please be sure that this is going to happen.
Your last remarks?
Is to thank you, UBC, for giving us this opportunity to pass on information to the public. And again, I call upon members of the public that please, our environment is our life. Let all of us ensure that we love our environment, protect our environment, because it's for so that we ensure that we pass on. We have been blessed to live in this very healthy environment. We should ensure that we pass on the next generation an environment that they will also be able to enjoy like the one we have done.
Thank you so much, Mr. Waiswa.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. It must be a duty for every Ugandan to adhere to the environmental policies and laws so that we live a healthy environment in order to protect it and conserve it. Remember that COVID is real. Make sure you go for vaccination. I am Sama Lukwago. Stay home and stay safe.
Everyone is talking about MTN shares. I am Jenny Kafulua Shares, and I am here to show you how you can get them. First, you need a Securities Central Depository account, or SCD account in short, and you can open one right now using MTN Momo. It's free of charge. Just get your phone and your national ID, and let me show you how. Now, why do you need an SCD account? Well, because every time you get shares in any company, well, including MTN, your shares are going to be kept in this account. But this is not a bank account, and you don't need to go anywhere to open it. So is your phone and your national ID ready? Good. Let me show you how to open your SCD account. First, dial *165*65# or use my MTN app. Then select option 1 to submit SCD account application. Then enter your full national ID number or NIN. Next, select your preferred stockbroker and then choose option 1 to accept the terms and conditions. Lastly, enter your mobile money PIN and wait for confirmation, which you will receive on SMS. Oh, by the way, stockbrokers are the people authorized to help you buy or sell any listed company shares, so you need to choose one. That's it. Once you have your SCD account, you're ready to start applying for your MTN shares for as low as 100,000 shillings for 500 shares.